another 11 months. We did hear that part of the reason for that delay was because controller support is coming to Diablo Immortal. Now, we've talked about this here before on the channel, but we weren't sure if it was coming. Now we know, so let's talk about it again. What is up, my friends? My name is Echo and welcome back to the channel where I come out with a Diablo Immortal video for you guys every single day. And let's be honest, it gets more and more difficult as time goes on. Wondering how I'm going to continue this for 11 months. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we get another developers build, beta build or something like that soon, so that it can make content creation a little bit easier. Because right now, I'm just talking about what we can anticipate. And that today is controller support. So I want to talk about, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? How can controller support hurt a mobile game? And just in general, overall, my thoughts on this change. So first of all, we know that a large amount of the community was interested in control support. They wanted to see Diablo Immortal have that control support, so when they spend endless hours playing, they can play with a comfortable controller in their hand rather than an uncomfortable phone. Although I don't think phones are uncomfortable. I'm perfectly fine playing on my phone, others are not. To each their own. We all game our own style. We all use our own platforms, our own devices, our own controllers, yada, yada, yada. All that stuff is basically up to our choice, and that's one of the beautiful things about gaming. So overall, I think this is a good change for Diablo Immortal. I think that it's going to please a large number of community members, and if you're able to get a nice large iPad and play with a controller, it can kind of feel like you're playing on a console with a small television set, but still, it'll have that same vibe and that same feel. And being that the controls and the support for that controller are being brought onto the game and into the game by Blizzard themselves, it's not an after-party input method. It's going to be flawless, it's going to be smooth. Whereas sometimes when you use these Bluetooth devices that take programming, it can be a little bit more difficult. And to be honest, sometimes it could even be a bit wonky. So now if we get a bunch of that wonkiness out of the mix, it's going to be a more comfortable gaming experience for people, which in the end is going to be a longer gaming experience for people. People are going to be able to play longer, enjoy the game more, whether they like the on-screen controls like myself, or if they choose to go with the controller. I personally believe that you have more control with the on-screen controls, more precise movements, but that's me, a person who predominantly plays on mobile devices. So is it really fair for me to say what the entire community should want? Of course not. Plus, it's not worth the community, and it's not okay for them to say that I shouldn't like those touchscreen controls. As I said before, to each their own. Now, where does control support cause a problem? Typically, when we're talking about competitive gaming. When you're playing mobile games on a competitive level, I'm talking about esports right now, if someone is able to get a more effective, more efficient input method, then they're going to have some kind of an advantage. So if you were to believe that a controller is a more advantageous input method or way of controlling the game, well then someone that would be using a controller to play Diablo Immortal would have an advantage over someone using the touchscreen. If they were to be playing in competitive events where prize money or prizes or some type of fame is on the line, then that would be unfair. But Diablo Immortal has decided that they are not going to go into that competitive scene. Diablo Immortal is not going to be an esport, at least as it sits right now. That's what we're being told, that they're not interested in taking things to the esports scene. So really, there's no competitive nature to that level where it's going to be impacted negatively by utilizing different methods of input, controllers, or, you know, mouse keyboard plugins. I don't even know if that's going to be a thing or not, but I know people are going to try and use it. So really, if there's no real prize for being better rather than being ranked higher inside of the game, then you don't have to worry about the input methods and the control support and all that as much, because it's just more casual. It's just people playing the game and enjoying the game. And at the end of the day, what Blizzard wants are for as many people to play this game and enjoy this game as possible. And if to do that, they need to support controllers, that's what needs to be done. Now, back when we spoke about controller support in the past, I've done some interviews on it. You could find them on the channel back from when they had BlizzCon Line over in February. They were talking about the input methods that are currently in the game, and that to do some type of a control support would be extremely time consuming and really building a whole new method of control, which is 100% true. At that point in time, I don't think Blizzard understood or even had seen yet how big of a demand there was for controller support inside Diablo Immortal. I think since that time, now we're talking about 5 months later, I think they realize that a lot of people want this controller support and that their game will be in better hands if controller support was supported inside of the game. So I think that's part of the reason why they decided to add this. Obviously, it's going to help for the longevity, it's going to make the audience happier, and it's really just giving people what they want. Now, let me take a moment to summarize my thoughts on controller support. We know that Diablo Immortal will never be supported on both PC and on mobile. That's what upset a big part of the community back in the day. Diablo Immortal will always be a mobile game. Now, it may be supported by types of mirroring devices like BlueStacks or things like that, as I almost get myself blown up right there. But it's not going to be a PC game. It will always be a mobile game, possibly moved over to emulators or supported by emulators. As of right now, that has not been confirmed. So Blizzard already has the PC community pretty upset about Diablo Immortal, even though they're feeling better now since Diablo 4 is coming as well in like whoever knows how many years. I legit don't even know. I can't even tell you when Diablo Immortal is coming, to be honest, although I think it's coming next summer. Let's move forward. I think that them being Blizzard offering controller support to the gamers, to players, is kind of an in-between meeting point. It's not going to be available to PC gamers. It's only going to be available to mobile gamers, so if PC gamers want to play, although they can't use keyboard and mouse, they'll be able to be given an option for another input method for them to further enjoy the game. And because esports are not a part of Diablo Immortal, sad, I know, but it's true and it's okay. Every game does not need to be an esport. Although esports are not going to be part of Diablo Immortal, it's going to make it easier for them to support these devices because the competitive advantage is not a thing. It's not going to impact anything, and at the end of the day, it's just about the comfort for gamers to play the game for longer, more effective sessions, and really just not hate the game because they hate touchscreen games. At the end of the day, I'm going to be playing on my phone or on my tablet, and I'm going to be using the touch screen. I will not be using any controllers, Bluetooth controllers, or even things that hold my phone. That's not how I game. It's not how I'm comfortable gaming, but it seems that a large percentage of the community is going to play Diablo Immortal that way. I in no way feel that I'm going to be at a disadvantage to these players. I don't think that using a controller is going to make them faster or more accurate than me using the touch screen. So for that, I'm all right with it. I'm okay with controller support. Does it kind of suck that it's going to take 11 more months for the game to come out, partially because of this controller support? Yes, that does kind of suck. But at the end of the day, Blizzard is making a better game for the community to embrace and to love and to play for longer, and that's really what we all should care about. Guys, if you're new around here and you haven't subscribed to the channel, now's a great time to do it. Drop on down below. While you're down there, type in more Diablo Immortal if you want to see more Diablo Immortal videos, and subscribe with that bell rung so when I come out with a video tomorrow, you can be one of the first people alerted, one of the first people in here, and one of the first people for me to drop a heart on your comment. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll see you back here tomorrow with another one. Until then, be good.